Today we're making this fun Sunburst card. Sometimes they're called Starburst cards. And I'm going to show you just how to make it. It's super easy. Okay, let's get started making our Starburst card. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut 3 rectangles at 1.5 by 4. And then we're going to slice them diagonally using our trimmer. So here's my first one, and that's 1.5 inches by 4. Here's going to be my second rectangle. And then I slice it on the diagonal using my trimmer. It's pretty fast to do this, you guys. Shouldn't it be a problem? And then let's get my third piece, which is the back side of the green. Alrighty. So not hard. Then we're going to work on arranging these in the order we want them to be a starburst. Now you want to do them in the exact, same order. So you see how it's yellow, then flower pattern, then green, then yellow, then flower pattern, then green. So you want them to go like that. Now, a lot of times what can start happening here is you start thinking, well, I have some more patterns. What do I really want to do here? And you start trying out different things. So I'm going to try this pink pattern to go instead of one of these colors. I was thinking the green because the green's kind of bright, but I sort of like the green too because it's kind of bright. So some of this process is basically trying the different layouts out, seeing what you like, seeing what you don't like. Also with this flowered paper, it shows different little components of it. There's a lot of colors in the flowered paper. And so I was trying to see, well, do I like this little flowered paper better than the other one? You'll see the flower paper triangles. How does that look? Is that too much yellow next to yellow? If you see on the left-hand side, if I used a different one, not so much yellow, so it's more distinctive. So there's a lot of swapping things out here and seeing what you want to do. Once I've got them the way I like them, and they need to be in the same order, I'm going to mount them on a 3.5 by 3 3/4. And what I first need to do is go ahead and find the center of that longest piece. And then I am going to cover this. I drew that line as you saw. I'm going to cover this with adhesive, and then I take my 2 center triangles and I line them up as so. I just start in the center and put them along that center line I drew. And I just go all the way around. It's very quick. Now you'll notice here in the bottom right, there's a whole bunch of white that I don't have anything covered with. And there's an easy way around that here in a second. I'll show you a little trick. It's super easy to fix that problem. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and trim the edges. And you see that big piece that just fell off? That we're going to use to put right in there. Easy, right, you guys? That's going to go right in there. Okay, I'm going to continue trimming. I want to show you guys that. All the way around. And then I'll go ahead and replace those 2 pieces that I was missing in the order in which, it would come next. So green would come, it's green, then yellow, then flowered, green, then yellow, then flowered. So see, those just stick right on, little wings, and then I'm going to trim those off. And I'm ready to go. So this is kind of you can kind of get fast at these. Once you figure out that first layout, you can get a little bit faster at it. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of green at the bottom of the starburst. And at first I start trimming that, and I'm not sure how I like it. Is it too much? It covers up too much. Typically, you mount this white piece onto a piece that is 3 3/4 by 5. And a lot of times what people will do is, you see it's mounted on that white piece, right? And I'm now going to cover the bottom with green. A lot of people don't even cover the bottom with green. They put a strip instead where the starburst meets, and then they still leave the white there, and then they might put a sentiment there. So I'm not doing things that way, so it's a little bit different, but easy. And so I think this turns out to be, I tell you in a second here, look at this, 1.5 by 3 3/4. All right, I told you kind of fast, so I thought I would say it too. So I'm just going to lay that down. And then I'm going to mount it on a piece of white that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And now my card itself is going to be that long piece is 4 1/4 by 11. I scored it at 5 1/2, and now I folded it using my score pal. Now I also need to create an inside piece, which will be 4 inches by 5 1/4. That's for the inside of my card. And I'm just going to trim a little bit here to put on the inside, just as a little strip, no big deal. So this white piece I'm dealing with now is my inside. I'm just going to stick that down. Here's a quick close-up of the stamp set we'll be using. Okay, and now we're going to get ready to put our sentiment on the front. We're going to think about doing that. Now I'm using this Happy Everything stamp set. It is a stamp set that will benefit Operation Smile, which is the charity that Close to My Heart sponsors. And $3 from every stamp set that is purchased from every one of these stamp sets called Happy Everything, excuse me, is donated directly to Operation Smile to purchase smiles for kids who can't afford them. And that's usually if you have a cleft palate or some other problem. So all right, let's go ahead and get this stamped. I love, love, love this stamp set. And we're stamping the sentiment that says, have a one-of-a-kind, fabulous day. And then it's got a little saying that we're going to put on the inside that says, because you're a one-of-a-kind, fabulous person. I'm using Hollyhock ink also for this. Now, I've backed it with some Hollyhock, and it's kind of a thick border, so I looked at that and then I thought, I should trim that down by 1/8 of an inch each way. So, and frankly, I found out what size to cut these things at by just holding up the stamp to the paper and then just measuring to see what would be the best size for this. So that's usually the best way to do those things. Now I've got some pixie twine. It's like this extra thick twine, and it's just cute. It's just going to give a little bit of border there, and that'll go underneath there, and we'll put a little bow. So we're just going to wrap this around to the back on both sides. I'm going to trim this first. Okay. And that gets mounted on my piece of white. That is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Now I'm just tying a little bow. And I just made 2 loops and tied them in a simple knot. So that's how I made that bow. I did it really fast. I'm sorry, you guys. But I got big fingers, so I don't know that you could ever see it. Sorry about that. Okay. Alrighty. I know, you guys. Yeah. Alrighty. So now I'm fiddling with a bow because that's what you always have to do. Fiddle, 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 and fiddle some more. Blah, blah, blah. Okie dokie. So let's stick that down. I still have some sticky left from when I put the twine on. And boy, do I want to fiddle with that. And now I'm going to use some pop dots to pop up my sentiment. All right, let's get that in there. Okay. Fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. Now where are my sentiments? My pop dots, I'm sorry. Where are they? And I found them. Okay. I always like to cut the honeycomb part out here if I've got kind of a big area to cover, because then I don't waste any bit of the pop dot. And this was a tight fit, as you see. Could have done that a wee bit better, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. Sorry my head's in the way, but you kind of got to get over these projects to get them done. Alrighty. Oops, now I need to stick it on the piece of white here. And the reason I'm putting the sticky on the white instead of the piece we had is because now it's got all this stuff on it. It's got the pixie twine. It's got the, pixie's our color. It's got that fat twine. It's got, you know, the cinnamon, all that other stuff. So now let's get it on the front of our card. And then we just need to put the inside in, and we're going to be pretty much done. So there's our card. And here's my inside piece. And all I need to do is then stamp on the inside, because you're a one-of-a-kind fabulous person. So to get my stamp out, since it's new, I just stamp it along my arm because that kind of conditions it. I know it's kind of weird, but it works. I'm telling you guys, it works. And then I just ink it up and get it right over the top, and there you go. So that was easy, right? Again, I used Hollyhock ink. Okay. Have a one-of-a-kind fabulous day because you're a one-of-a-kind fabulous person. Let's get this stuck on the inside and we're going to wrap this show up. I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and have a wonderful, fabulous day yourself because you are wonderful and fabulous. One last thing, here are the products I used. This is the Blossom paper pack, the Happy Everything stamp set, all from close to my heart. Then we've got the Hollyhock ink, and finally the Pixie extra thick twine. And you can get that all at the site coming up.